If you ask a random person on the street which dinosaur the Tyrannosaurus rex hated the most, they'll probably say the Spinosaurus. Why? Because Jurassic Park 3 showed us a Spinosaurus snapping a T-Rex's neck like a twig. But here is the cold, hard truth. That fight never happened. It couldn't have happened. Those two titans lived millions of years apart and on completely different continents. So who was the real nightmare of the Tyrant King? It wasn't another carnivore, it was an herbivore, an animal so heavily armored and aggressive that it is the only creature in history known to have survived a T-Rex bite and fought back. Forget the movies. This is the true story of the Triceratops.
Before we talk about the battles, we have to talk about the blunder. When the first fossilized horns of this beast were discovered in Colorado in 1887, they were sent to the famous paleontologist Othniel Charles Marsh. Marsh looked at these massive, sharp horns and confidently declared, "This is a buffalo, specifically an ancient bison." He named it Bison alticornis. He was wrong, dead wrong. It wasn't until a complete skull was found a year later, a skull with 3 distinct horns, that Marsh realized he wasn't looking at a cow. He was looking at a brand new genus of dinosaur. He named it Triceratops, literally meaning 3-horned face. This discovery changed everything. It wasn't just another dinosaur, it was the biological tank of the Cretaceous period. To understand why a T-Rex would hesitate to attack this plant eater, you have to look at the specs. An adult Triceratops was an absolute unit. We are talking about an animal up to 30 feet long and weighing between 6 and 10 tons. Some exceptional specimens, like the one nicknamed Big John, suggest they could tip the scales at 12 tons. Let me put that into perspective for you. That is the weight of 6 average American cars combined, or 120 grown men. In a sumo match between a Triceratops and a T-Rex, the Triceratops might actually have the weight advantage. But it wasn't just fat and muscle, it was bone. Triceratops had an exceptionally robust skeleton, far thicker than most other dinosaurs. And then there was the skull. Its head was massive, making up 1/3 of its entire body length, and protecting its neck was the famous frill. For years, scientists argued, was the frill for showing off to mates, or was it a shield? Evidence suggests it was both, but in a fight, that frill made the Triceratops look twice as big, and it protected the most vulnerable part of its body from the bone-crushing jaws of a predator. Defense is good, but offense wins wars, and the Triceratops was packing serious heat. It wielded 3 horns. The 2 brow horns above the eyes could grow over 3 feet long. That's longer than a baseball bat and sharp as a spear. And remember, fossils are just the bone core. In life, these horns were covered in keratin, making them even longer and sharper. But here is the twist. Most of the time, they didn't use these weapons against predators. They used them on each other. Paleontologists have found Triceratops skulls riddled with puncture wounds that perfectly match the horns of rival Triceratops. They were brawlers, fighting for territory or mates. If they were willing to stab their own kind, imagine what they would do to a hungry T-Rex. So, did they actually fight the Tyrant King, or is that just speculation? The answer lies in the fossils. We have found Triceratops bones with T-Rex tooth marks that show signs of healing. This is crucial. It means the T-Rex attacked, the Triceratops fought back, and the Triceratops survived to live another day. But the most smoking gun is the famous dueling dinosaurs fossil, a T-Rex and a Triceratops buried together, locked in combat. In one specific case, a specimen known as Y-Rex, a T-Rex, was found with its tail bitten clean off. While we can't be 100% sure, the geometry of the injury lines up perfectly with the jaws of a large tyrant, or perhaps
The defensive strike of a horned giant? There is even evidence of a T-Rex with a puncture wound in its femur that looks suspiciously like it was gored by a horn. This wasn't a predator hunting helpless prey. This was a clash of equals. The Triceratops was one of the most successful animals to ever walk the earth. In the Hell Creek Formation, they were everywhere, sometimes making up 40% of the fossil population. They were the dominant species. They survived the T-Rex. They survived millions of years of brutal evolution. But they couldn't survive the sky falling. When the asteroid hit 66 million years ago, the Triceratops, along with its eternal rival, the T-Rex, faded into history together. In fact, the youngest dinosaur fossil ever found, located just inches below the extinction layer, was a Triceratops. They fought until the very bitter end. So the next time you see a plastic toy of a T-Rex and a Triceratops, remember, you aren't looking at a monster in its lunch. You are looking at the heavyweight champion of the ancient world and the only tank brave enough to stand in its way. If you think the Triceratops was tough, wait until you hear about the dinosaur that the T-Rex was actually afraid to hunt. Click this video to find out, and don't forget to subscribe for more prehistoric truths.